And, you know, bonus story, which just popped into my head when I was thinking about times my dad's nearly killed himself. This one was quite recent in the sense that it's not as far back as the 90s. Um, when I was still living at home, my dad was fixing the shower, and we used to have tiles in our shower, and now we don't. We have sort of like plasticized sort of faux tiles. And my dad was trying to get to the piping behind the towels, and he didn't have a hammer, and he needed to break this tile, and he was like, oh, you know, it's fine, I'll just like break it with my palm. And so he was just gonna like break it with his palm, and he didn't realise, I'm not sure if he didn't realise that he, like, I don't know, he just didn't think, obviously, and his hand just went straight into the wall, just like buried about a foot in the wall behind the shower, shards of tile, like fucking digging into his wrist. So, you know, and, you know, he got his hand stuck in the wall, and like the first thing, you get your arm stuck somewhere, it's like, I'll have that back, thank you. I want my arm back. I've had it as long as I can remember. So he yanks it out. And I actually distinctly remember, and I wasn't that young, there was an arterial spurt across the wall of the shower, like this line of like droplets like sprayed onto the wall. Yeah, my mum refused to clean the wall. She refused to clean my dad's blood off the wall, and when he got back from the hospital, sort of jumping ahead now, he had to clean his own blood off the inside of the shower. Which is just absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, so basically, like, you know, he realised then, shit, this is I can't deal with this on my own, this is a hospital job. And, he swiftly turned around, and I was in my parents' room, I was on my laptop, and I was playing, like, you know, just some, like, arcade game, you know. So yeah, he just walked swiftly across the landing, into the bathroom, slammed the door. I can't remember if he locked it, I don't think so. And I knew something was wrong. And I always say I knew something was wrong because you didn't swear. I don't necessarily think it was that. Maybe, partly, but I just sort of, I knew. Because, like, if it was, like, a minor injury, my dad would have just come in and been like, oh, look, I cut myself, because he cuts himself doing everything. It's, like, a running joke in our family that, like, if my dad does DIY, and he has not cut himself, it's gonna go wrong. Like, but if he's cut himself, it'll be like a fucking perfect job. Brilliant. You know, but, so, I hear him call from the bathroom down to my mum, she's downstairs. I hear him call, he calls her name, and he says, I think you should come up here, you know, you should bring the phone up here, and you should call an ambulance. You can't say shit like that to my mum. And she just fell to pieces. Gone. And like, not completely, you know, she still managed to function on a basic level, but she was flapping, like, you know, 10 to the 10th power. She was not okay, in any sense of the word. So, she comes up the stairs, and she was like, what's happening? And, he lets her into the bathroom, and he's got this, one of these, it's a towel that we don't have anymore, and my dad, after this incident, had it in the back of his car. It was this big dark blue towel, and he had it clamped around his wrist, and he had his arm in the air. And he said, I've cut my arm in the shower, you know, and there's shards of tile stuck in it, and I can't deal with this myself, we need to go to the hospital. And I can't drive, and you obviously can't drive. So, and my mum was trying to dial 999, and she was jabbing at the phone, and my dad tells me this, and it just kills me every time. She's jabbing the keys, and she was like, it's not working! And he takes the phone from her really calmly, because my dad's like that, he's just eerily calm in any situation, you know, and he takes the phone from her and just goes, it's because you're pressing the hash key. Oh, Mum, I love you. Both of you, you're brilliant. And, like, she eventually manages to contact emergency services, and, she's saying, yeah, I need an ambulance, and she gives them our address, and she says, yeah, he's cut his wrist, he's cut his arm, and obviously we can't hear the other end of the conversation, and she just, like, screeches, like, screeching harpy, like, no, he didn't do it on purpose. Just, Mum, they have to ask. Just calm down. So me and my brother got sent to my nan's because she used to live really, really close, like 2 minutes walk away. So we went to my nan's, and my dad went into hospital, and he actually said, at home, that he was looking at the cut, you know, because he sort of dabbed all of the blood away, and he was looking at it, and he was moving his hand, and it was like a V shape in his wrist, and he has a scar, and it's quite a small scar, but, you know, and he said he could see inside, and he was like moving his hand, and things were moving around, and I was just like, that is so cool. But I was like, you know, I was kind of too young to find interesting what I now find incredibly fascinating, and my mum refused to take a picture, and I was like, you should have asked me. Why didn't you ask me? I don't know, maybe because you were like 11. In the ambulance on the way to the hospital, my dad was trying to make jokes. He was calm, everybody around him was freaking out. I mean, he had to tell my mum, no, you need to get in your car and follow the ambulance. You can't come in the ambulance with me. How are you going to get home? And he was in the ambulance with the paramedic, and he looked at him and he said, will I ever play the piano again? And the paramedic turns to him and he said, do you play? And my dad went, no, it's a joke. Like, and he didn't seem very impressed at all, this paramedic. And my dad was just like, it's funny. So, yeah, but basically, like, now, because of that, my dad has, you know, this little, like, 15-stitch scar on his wrist, and he's fucked up some of the nerves in his hand. So, when he would hold, like, a glass milk bottle, you know, when it's like cold and wet here, when you hold a milk bottle, it would feel cold and wet down here. It would feel like there was water running down his arm, like right down here where it's not touching, obviously, and it's just like, I can't like fathom that feeling, it just sounds really weird. Cool, but weird, you know, and and my mum my mum refused to clean it off. Swiftly turned around. I was in my parents' room. I was on my laptop and I was playing like you know, just some like arcade game. You know, not Tetris, but the one where you, it's not relevant, Alice. Shut up. It doesn't matter. It's not, you know, elemental to the story. Shut up.